Welcome to Dalmar TV. This is your host, Sabrin Mire, and we have very special guests with us today. We have Russ from Flickinger Legal Group and Justin. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No problem. Can you give us more information about Flickinger Legal Group and why you started it?
Flickinger Legal Group is a family law firm. We've been in business for almost 40 years. We specialize primarily in personal injury law. That would be individuals who are injured in car, truck, motorcycle accidents. I got my first taste for doing this type of work in the military. I was a captain in the Army Judge Advocate General's Corps, and my position at that time was helping people who were being medically boarded out of the military. They have a rating system, and we would try to increase their rating system so that they would get compensation that we felt was in line with the injuries that they had sustained. So when I got out into private practice, I followed up with doing the personal injury work. And so we've been doing personal injury for 40 years. And again, we do a lot of car, truck, motorcycle type accidents.
40 years, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
So I'll ask you some scenario-based questions. If you have been in an accident and are at the scene, what should you do?
So if you get in an accident and you're at the scene, first thing you need to do is call the police. Call the police and have them come to the scene to assist you. Second thing is assess for injuries. If you're injured, make sure that they send an ambulance to take you to the emergency room for the treatment that you need. Third thing you need to do is make sure you take photos of the scene as best you can, because it's better to have photos later on so that we can determine liability and it can help with your case.
And what is required to have a claim?
In order to have a claim, you need three things. We need to have somebody else being liable for the accident. The second thing is you have to have been injured, which of course you are if you're calling us. And the third thing is we need some form of insurance, automobile insurance. That could be a third party, the person who's responsible for the accident, or it could be your own insurance carrier.
Great. Tell us more about insurance, how the insurance claim works and what is required.
You want to take this one?
Sure. In order to have a case, there has to be some type of insurance coverage. So if there's a driver who caused the accident and they have insurance, we primarily go after their insurance coverage. If they have no insurance or they don't have enough insurance, you then look at your own policy, and hopefully you have a policy that will include what they call uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage, which will pay in the event the other driver is either one, uninsured, or if the other driver doesn't have enough insurance to pay you.
As far as insurance, are there good insurance that you recommend?
The most important thing is to protect yourself and your family. So that is why you want to make sure that you have uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage. That's the way you protect yourself, your family, and whoever else is in your car. If you also have medical payments, that will take care of medical bills up to whatever that limit is. Some people get the cheapest insurance possible. They get liability only, which basically means they can go out and drive legally, but if something happens to them, if they're hit by an uninsured driver, if that driver doesn't have enough insurance, they're not going to be covered for anything further. And if they only have liability, they're not going to get paid for their car if the other person has no insurance. So they're going to want to make sure that they get comprehensive and collision, which will cover their vehicle if someone hits them and doesn't have insurance. Also, if they're at fault, that's the only way they're going to get insurance for their car. We suggest making sure they go through all the coverage with their agent and list everything out so they understand it. And of course, for our clients, we tell them to bring their policy in. We'll take a look at it and we'll make suggestions to them as exactly what they need to protect themselves and their family.
You heard it here. If you need any help or have questions, contact Justin and Russ. As far as claims, what is the process to submit a claim through insurance?
So in order to submit a claim, basically what would happen is if we're representing you, you would come into our office, we would sign you up, and we would submit all the necessary paperwork to the insurance carrier. We would send them a letter of representation saying that we're representing you, and then we would file a claim. That claim may be filed with the at-fault party, or it may be filed with your own insurance carrier. By submitting a claim with your own insurance carrier, that does not mean that your rates are going to go up. There's an Ohio statute that protects you, so your rates will not go up if you are not at fault for an accident just because we're filing a claim. After filing the claim, then they will start working on getting your vehicle paid for and covered earlier on, and then we will work on resolving your injury claim at the end of the case.
Thank you. And as far as if you don't have insurance or Medicaid, how do you get medical treatment?
So some medical providers will treat you on something called a letter of protection. A letter of protection will provide the provider the understanding that they will treat you, and then after they treat you, we can work on getting them compensated once we resolve your claim at the end of your case.
Okay, and then for your lawyer, how does your lawyer get paid?
So our fee is all contingent based. What that means is that we do not get paid unless we are recovering money for our client. So there's no expenses to you or costs to you out of your pocket if we are not recovering for you.
Thank you. And as far as claims, is there an average time it takes from start to finish?
There is no real average time. It purely is dependent on how long it's going to take you to treat and get better. Some people have mild injuries, and within a month to 2 months, they should have resolved. It does take some time to collect the medical records and the medical bills from the hospitals. If we're able to get a case resolved within 6 to 7 months after the accident and it's a soft tissue injury, that works out pretty well. But we have some people who have catastrophic injuries, and it may take years for us to be able to recover simply because it takes them that long to heal.
I understand, definitely. And in your experience, what are the most common mistakes people make in accidents?
Well, first at the scene, they don't call the police. They let the other person go because they ask them, please let me go. Don't call the police. I don't want a ticket. And then as soon as they let them go, they change their story, and there's no proof as to how the accident happened. Nowadays, everybody has a phone that has a camera on it. As soon as you're in that accident, if you're physically able to do so, you need to be taking pictures of the car, the person that was driving the car, the intersection, everything imaginable, because it may be important. Also calling the police. Unfortunately, after COVID, the police usually will not come to the scene of an accident unless someone is being transported by emergency squad. But you're going to want to try to ask them as nicely as possible, please come to the scene. If you have a report, that helps dramatically. And also, if you detect any type of injury, anything whatsoever, you need to make sure that you're taken to the hospital and you're taken care of.
Thank you. And as far as tough cases where insurance companies denies or minimizes compensation, what are there strategies or approaches that you take?
If the case is difficult or troublesome, sometimes there'll be an issue with liability. There might be an issue with a gap in treatment. What we do is we'll push back on the insurance carrier. When we need to, we'll file a lawsuit and we'll fight for your rights.
Thank you so much. And then can you share a powerful or memorable case that you've handled?
Let's see. Probably the most significant case that affected me, and I would use this at a lot of different places where I would speak when I was a young attorney, was a client of mine who got into one of the graduation day accidents, which are very unfortunate. A group of kids were getting ready to graduate from high school. They got out in the car. There was alcohol involved. My client was a passenger. He ended up becoming paraplegic for the rest of his life. We were able to successfully sue the driver of the car, the homeowner that provided the alcohol, the carryout that provided the alcohol, the homeowner's insurance for where they had consumed the alcohol. So we were able to get that individual enough compensation to take care of him for the rest of his life. And I became personal friends with him and his family. And it probably left the biggest effect on me, showing me how I, as an attorney doing this kind of work, can actually make a huge impact in someone else's life.
That is, I'm speechless. You went far and beyond to help your client, which is appreciated. And as far as the community, the Somali community, the Franklin County community, why do you believe people place so much trust in your law firm?
I think it's because of our longevity. I've been here 25 years working with the community, and we have, in that time period, donated countless dollars to numerous different organizations. We feel that if we're going to be making money off the community, it's our duty to make sure that we give back. And so for the last 25 years, we have sponsored numerous events, numerous different organizations, soccer tournaments, Independence Day, International Women's Day, the mosque during Ramadan, scholarships for children of Somali descent who are going to college. You name it, we've done it, and I think it's important that we contribute, and I believe the community sees us as part of the community now. There's no other attorneys, there's no other person out there that does as much as we do, because we enjoy being able to work with the community, and we think it's only right that we give back.
Definitely. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. What advice do you have for immigrant communities like the Somali community who may be unfamiliar or hesitant about navigating legal systems after an injury?
Well, best thing is to call us. We can certainly tell you if you have a claim or if you don't have a claim. There's also types of injuries that we may not do, workers' compensation, for example, where we can refer someone if they've been injured to work to attorneys. We have people call us for traffic tickets. We don't do that. We can send them somewhere. We've been doing this a long time, so we know someone that should be able to take care of pretty much any kind of legal problem that you have. So if you give us a call, if we don't do that kind of work, we'll be happy to help navigate you through the system. It's just very important to use the access to us so that we can make sure that you're taken care of.
Definitely. And as far as your firm, what do you specialize in?
Our biggest thing we do are probably automobile accidents. We also have a niche where we do help a lot of truck drivers and trucking accidents, which we're able to hopefully assist them along with other attorneys in states other than Ohio. We also do a lot of motorcycle accidents, and we do get the occasional Somali who is riding a motorcycle nowadays, and we are able to help them out quite a bit. But the bulk of what we do are the automobile cases.
Great. Thank you so much. I wasn't aware that you specialize in trucking or helping truck drivers. There's many Somali truck drivers. So
There are a lot of Somali truck drivers, and we try to help them somewhat before the accident as well. We tell them bring their insurance in for us to take a look at, making sure that they have some type of occupational accident policy that will cover them in an accident, and also making sure that if they're an owner-operator, if they're going to have their own LLC and it gets a little complicated, that they also can pay into the workers' comp system where they'll be able to get benefits if they happen to be at fault and get injured. So we do a lot of trucking cases.
great. Thank you. And you heard it here. This is Russ and Justin with the Flickinger Legal Group. So any legal questions that you may have, even if they don't specialize in it, they will love to help you and assist you and guide you in the right direction. Thank you for watching Dalmar TV. This is your host, Sabrin Mire.